Over half of all VC-backed companies called Silicon Valley Bank home. But for diverse founders, people of color and women, SVB was a crucial haven and sometimes the only institution willing to back them. Our own Allie Garfinkle joins us now to explore how those startups plan to move forward. Hey, Allie.
Hi, Rochelle. Great to see you. So I've spent the last 5 days talking to founders and VCs about what the long-term effects of SVB's collapse could look like. And there's one theme that has just emerged over and over and over: diversity. What that amounts to is that in many cases, diverse founders, people of color, and women who are looking to build their businesses often found that SVB was not only a willing partner, but their only banking partner. And just so you get a sense of the uphill climb, data shows that founders of color are far less likely to receive both VC funding and small business loans from banks. So you get a sense of this uphill battle, right? They were fighting this, and some data that really can stick out for you, Rochelle. In 2022, Black founders raised just 1% of all venture funding. And if you look at this graph here, those tiny lines at the bottom, that is the amount raised by Black companies as opposed to all funding for VC companies. I spoke to VC Asia Bradley about this. She's both an angel investor and a partner at Mendoza Ventures, and her practice focuses specifically on underrepresented founders. And this is what she said to me: only SVB was there for most of the underrepresented founders I know and work with. For underrepresented founders, they often can't get accounts at the top 4 banks. So the community of Black and brown founders has been reeling, asking, what are we going to do? The other thing she said is that it's a big blow to diversity in the ecosystem. Bradley still believes in regional banks as an avenue for founders, but that's going to get more complicated because one of the other things I have heard is that due diligence in Silicon Valley could be changed forever. One VC I was speaking to at Cameron Ventures told me that overnight they changed the metrics they were using. They changed some of the questions they were asking companies. For instance, where are you storing your cash? How many different banks? And there's going to be an emphasis on banks that are considered stable, which are more likely to be the top 4 banks. So we'll have to see how it plays out over time, Rochelle, but it's definitely going to be possibly what Asia Bradley said, a bigger blow to diversity in the VC ecosystem.
And how confident was she that perhaps other banks who recognize the need for this might step in versus saying, look, this is already a risky environment for VCs. This is just a risk they're just not willing to take?
It's a really good question, Rochelle. I think from me, what I got from her was that she is very worried about it, that historically the data hasn't been good, showing that, for instance, immigrant founders are more likely to struggle to get a bank account from a top 4 bank. So I think there's definitely concern. That said, there has been a huge outpouring of support, not only for diverse founders, but for founders across the board. Every single founder I talked to, I think I talked to about 12, 13 just in the first 72 hours. And they all said they were completely impressed and completely floored by not only the VCs who stepped up for them, but by the community at large. So there is a lot of hope. There is some optimism, but definitely historically, it's an uphill battle, and it's hard to assume that it won't continue to be that way.